G'day, guys. Welcome back to Stat Chat Sports. You're here with myself, Steve, and Tazza for our weekly Premier League podcast. Tazza, a little bit of a spanner in the works. Obviously, no Premier League action last week due to the death of the Queen. All the games were postponed. We've had a couple of games also postponed this week thus far, with probably some more potentials on the horizon as well. So we'll carry on as if the games are to continue. However, obviously we'll have no hit, miss and hold fire this week due to obviously no games being played. So we're going to look forward to what games are remaining next week with our game of the week. We're going to Everton and West Ham. Now, probably wouldn't be our first choice, or we'll be completely honest. Chelsea and Liverpool were on the cards. However, that game is one of the ones postponed. So we've landed here, Everton, West Ham at Goodison, two teams currently underperforming, to say the very least. Look, we like to pick games that are going to be entertaining to watch, cagey affairs, but this probably doesn't have a whole lot of promise in terms of that side of it, but it is still an important game for both teams.
Yeah, this definitely doesn't have the star power that we're usually used to including in one of these in the game of the week. It's a cellar dweller, really. It's 16th versus 18th. I think 6 or 7 combined goals so far this season already in 6 match weeks. So the teams are hardly putting it in the back of the net. But what you're going to get with this game is tension. There's two teams that don't really want to be sitting where they're sitting in the table, and so with that, you will get a cagey affair. And I think that's what is the real draw card in this game is, although we're early in the season, there is a little bit riding on it. And both teams are really going to be keen for 3 points to kickstart their season because they've both spluttered to this point.
Yeah, they've both been pretty poor. We like to look at the previous games between the pair, but I feel like you almost can't read too much into it. West Ham won both fixtures last season, but they're a completely different West Ham at the moment. I don't know what's going on over there, but they have looked, the term is a shadow of their former self, but they've looked even less than that, to be perfectly honest. So I feel like the fact that they won both fixtures last year, you can't read a lot into that.
No, definitely not. And I mean, West Ham invested in that squad, and so it's really surprising because I thought they would take that step to really holding that the top 8 sort of the top half of the table spot. I thought they would have cemented that, and the signs are right now that they're going backwards, and I don't think anyone saw that happening. Well, given the investment made, so it's an odd one for me. Everton, obviously, last season was such an outlier that, I mean, they were almost relegated. No one saw that happening. There was too much talent in that squad, and even minus for Charlison, there should be too much talent in that squad to be where they are. But it's, two teams that are really struggling at the moment.
Yeah, Everton are finding themselves in a familiar position, we'll say, based off of where they were last season. Yet to win. One of only 2 teams yet to win a game. And the other team is sitting rock bottom of the league at the moment with a solitary point. So, they're almost lucky in a sense that they've got 4 draws, Everton here. Otherwise, they'd be a lot worse off. But they've got to find some goal scoring boots basically from somewhere. They've signed Neil Maupay. Is he the answer? I don't think so. I mean, he'll come with goals. He'll probably come with no more than 10. I would say. Calvert-Lewin is still injured. When he returns, he would 100% be their go-to guy. But they're lacking goals from elsewhere on the pitch. I think Anthony Gordon is probably their top goal scorer at the moment so far. But they've looked lackluster, even just going forward. They probably looked their best going forward against Liverpool, to be honest. They were unlucky not to score in that game, hitting the post a couple of times. But I think that's their main concern. Based off of the draws that they've had, they can defend okay. They've recruited nicely in defence, Connor Cody, but their problem for me is goal scoring.
Yeah, Connor Cody was a pretty shrewd investment, but I mean, you can look at draws two ways. You can say they're in games, they're not getting blown off the park, which
Mm,
is a great start. But like you said, the goal scoring needs to be there if they're going to get out of this the slump that they're in. You're not. You could draw every game for a season. 38 points probably gets you just out of relegation. So that's that's really not a metric to be judged on at the same time as it can also be promising. But yeah, the goals need to come, and I mean they really need Calvert Lewin. That that he's their talisman. Really is
mm.
probably the not the right word, but he is the cornerstone of their attack. So without him, it's quite obvious that they're struggling. And like you said, yeah, Anthony Gordon, there was talks that he was going to move on elsewhere. There was rumors that he would move on, but Everton have done well to keep him, and he could be crucial while Calvert Lewin's out
Mm.
to getting them somewhere close to where they need to be around that mid table.
So who wins this game? It's a tough choice.
Oh,
It's hard to pick.
mm, ugh. Uh, look, I think being at Goodison,
Mm,
I think that's almost enough to sway it at this point.
yeah.
Um, West Ham should have too much. They're definitely the more talented side. There's more guts and there's more of a spine to that team, but they've both been terrible. So I'm going to go Everton based on the fact that I mean likely a draw
Mm,
for me,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
if I have to pick a team, I think I'll back Everton, and I couldn't even tell you why. I think probably just Goodison
Yeah.
will be the deciding factor.
Yeah, I agree. That would be the one and only reason why I can see them getting over the edge in the end is because it's at Goodison, and we could be seeing a 1-0, something along those
Mm,
lines. Which
yeah.
isn't the most entertaining for a game of the week, but as long as as long as the entertainment's there in the game, maybe you plenty of chances or something like that. As long as we don't see
Uh,
an under 3 shot a game sort of match, it should still be somewhat entertaining to watch.
I think it'll be a tough game, and I think that's probably where the energy will come from. I think it'll be a tough one. They'll be both getting stuck in. They both know where that they're in a position where they really shouldn't be. They both had their sights set. So I mean, if the goals aren't coming, they're gonna have to get aggressive. So I reckon that's the kind of game it'll be.
Let us know in the comment section below who you think is going to win the game. Hopefully, it does go ahead, and hopefully, no further games be postponed, because I know a lot of people are all around the world, and in particular in England, weren't overly impressed with the decision to postpone games. So hopefully, they do go ahead in the end. But yeah, let us know your thoughts on who's going to win this one in the comments below. Now, Tazza, because there's no other Premier League to talk about this week, there is still some football to be played. Champions League is to go ahead this week, so we're going to do a bit of a once-off here. We will probably revisit this at some stage in the season, but we're going to do another game of the week, looking forward to the upcoming Champions League fixtures as well. So with plenty of games to be played throughout the week, is there one fixture that stands out for you?
There is definitely one that stands out, and it's Robert Lewandowski's revenge game, or somewhat of a revenge game. Depends how you want to put it, but it's Bayern v Barcelona. So we will see the return of Robert Lewandowski to the Allianz Arena,
Mm.
which which is definitely. I mean, there there should not be a single Bayern supporter that isn't going to wish Lewandowski well for what he did for that club, the goals he scored, and for just what it was. I mean, he should have won a Ballon d'Or
Mm.
with with that team, and it's been pretty well documented how reaped
He was robbed.
maybe, yeah, how just
the
unfair it
one
was.
the 1 year that the Ballon d'Or is essentially cancelled is the
Mm,
year that he would have got it.
yeah, it was really not fair, but I mean, it just shows. how the everyone has the same opinion about this bloke. He isn't just a gun, but he's on the other side now, and he's continuing his fine form. Barcelona as a whole, as a team as well, sitting second, undefeated, 4 wins and 1 draw. Lewandowski's topping the goal charts in La Liga as well. So it's been a fruitful return for Barcelona. Bayern, on the other hand, they're sitting third in the Bundesliga at the moment. Huge start for them and have really petered out a little bit. I mean, 3 draws on the trot isn't terrible, but in the Bundesliga, it's something to worry about because apart from Dortmund and maybe Leipzig, the competition really isn't there.
Yeah, no, I agree. I definitely agree. I mean, look, Bayern will come good. They're still yet to lose in the league as well, and it's something I'll talk about a little bit later on in our next segment. But yeah, look, it's out of the two teams in the Champions League, both won their first game quite comfortably. Barcelona, where I mean, I can't even pronounce the team they were playing. It's just one of the outsider sides, I suppose, and I think Bayern won 2-0 against Inter. So a win for both sides. So it's probably realistically these are the two sides that are going to be going through in the next round as well. But it's going to be an interesting one. I mean, I was looking at the head-to-heads. It heavily favors Bayern here. I actually didn't realize how many times Bayern Munich have beaten Barcelona in the Champions League. Obviously, they've thumped them a couple of times in recent times as well. But we're looking at a completely different Barcelona side here. Given the position that Barca were in last season at the start of the season in terms of financially, I suppose very few people only know how they've managed to turn that into the transfer window that they had, picking up a lot of signings, going from a stage where none of them were being able to be registered to all of them then being registered. Don't know if there's some dodgy dealings going on there, but well, it is what it is. But Barcelona look like they're back to their absolute best, I'd say. They've got plenty of young talent in there at the moment. Javi, or Gavi, I suppose, and what's the other bloke's name? It's
Pedri.
Pedri. The two that it's sort of touted to obviously replaced Xavi and Iniesta in their Lime days. So it's looking exciting for Barcelona, and it's probably tough to swing between the two and sort of pick which way I think it's going to go. I think being in Germany, I think Bayern probably have the better chance of winning here. I suppose the main thing for me is that they're missing a number 9 since they've lost Lewandowski. They're missing a true number 9. I don't know if Muller's been playing there.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say it would be. There's a majority of their goals
Yep.
coming from Sane and Mane, the wingers. But I don't know if that's going to play an issue for him in this game, being without a number 9. But it's not like they haven't got goals from elsewhere on the pitch.
Yeah, on Barcelona and their signings, I think they've jeopardized their long term future for the short term with they're selling off parts of the team of the franchise is the wrong word as well, but the team as a whole and their rights, the Barcelona rights for certain parts of the whatever you want to call it, themselves. Yeah, they've really sold them off and generated funds out of that. So that's how they've avoided FFP rules as well. So it's an odd one and it's pretty unprecedented. But so was Barcelona's debt at the same time too. So they had to do something wild to get out of it and remain competitive. And I suppose it's kind of like a last chance loan for Barcelona. Fire sale and hope that this brings the club back up through revenue and all the other stuff that comes with being successful. So, but yeah, away from that, I mean, I definitely think that losing Lewandowski to Barcelona is going to be their weakness in this game. because that's exactly what Barcelona. I mean, what they've lost, they've just planted it right in Barcelona. And now they've got to verse them. So,
Mm.
and looking at Barcelona's defensive record, they've given up 1 goal in 5 games. And I'm not sure how you can look at Bayern Munich's goals and how many they've scored so far, but it's in the Bundesliga. It's so hard to compare that and say, oh yeah, but look, they're banging in goals for fun, but they're not doing it against Barcelona and Madrid every day.
Yeah.
So, and especially with Barcelona's defensive record, I probably actually leaning towards Barcelona.
Okay.
Um, yeah, it's a tough one, but even yeah, everything points for me to Barcelona. Just I think the depth in that team, not that. Yeah, I just can't see how Bayern can score a winning score against that Barcelona defense.
Yeah. Okay. No. No. That's a good point. It's a good point. I'm going to stick to my guns. I'll stick to my initial call. I'll stick with Bayern. But it's good that we disagree on a pick for once.
We don't usually do that, so it's good. It's good
No.
to have some back and forward kind of. I wouldn't say, yeah. So some disagreement is always good.
Yeah, disagreement's always good on the channel. So, but excuse me. So, obviously, again, this is football. Champions League football, I suppose, is one that can't be necessarily disrupted by the facts of the Queen's death. So we're likely to see a fair few Champions League games this weekend. Obviously, this particular one we're talking about, game of the week for us. Let us know your thoughts below on who's going to win this one. Whether you agree with myself, Brian, or whether you agree with Taza, who is tipping Barcelona. I think it's going to be. I think it could be quite a 50-50 pick. It's definitely a tough choice. Now, none of these teams come with an easy win here, so it's going to be interesting to see what you think below in the comments. Alrighty, Tazza, it's time for our unpopular opinions segment on the channel. It's a segment that we enjoy doing on the channel. It makes creates a bit of a discussion between us. Still yet to see any from the viewers. So make sure you do leave yours in the comments below. We'll bring them up on the podcast so we can have a discussion there too. But Tazza, I'm going to kick one off here to start with. Slightly different format, I suppose. It's not more so of like a question or an opinion or anything like that, but the term Farmers League is thrown around a fair bit in the footballing world at times. So my question is between the top 5 leagues, the Premier League, Serie A, the Bundesliga, the La Liga, and the Liga 1. I want you to rank those from 5 being the least, I suppose, to number 1 being the Farmers League out of those 5.
At the bottom, I would say the least Farmers League would have to be the Premier League, even though Manchester City dominate most times. They don't canter to the league. They definitely don't canter to it. They're definitely challenged. Um, for I'm going to say Syria, probably not in recent history, but we are seeing different challenges now. We are seeing the likes of Juventus not quite dominating. We're seeing Inter, we're seeing AC Milan. We're actually seeing different winners, which is the complete opposite to a Farmers League.
Mm.
So we've got the Bundesliga, Liga, and La Liga. Ooh. Okay, La Liga's next. Yeah, okay. I feel like I've stuffed this up, but uh, look, rewind. We're going.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to swap. No, okay. Serie A is number 5. La Liga is number 4. Premier League is number 3. I'm
Okay.
going back on that because I
Yeah,
think
okay.
City, they do dominate. They're challenged, but they win. And that's the thing. They do win.
Mm.
Number 2. Uh, ooh, it's got to be. Oh, geez, that's so hard. It's PSG and Bayern Munich. Oh, look, by Bundesliga second, Liga is the most farmers league.
Ooh, okay. Okay. For a second there, I
That is a
thought
hard one. That is so hard.
for a second there, I thought we might have been heading towards the same setup. But
Mm.
I've gone different. Um
Yeah,
I did have I had the Premier League at fifth as well, but you've kind of swayed me. I think I'll go Syria fifth. I'll go the Premier League fourth, then the
hmm
La Liga, and then I'm going to put the Liga in second, and I'm putting Bundesliga as top at the moment.
yeah,
And just about for the longest time, um, the Liga has been classified as the Farmers League pretty much ever since PSG came into their um, form of uh, you know the richest team in the country essentially. Um, they went on. I don't even have the stat in front of me, but they went on numerous uh, title winning streaks. But in recent times, over the last couple of weeks, they've not couple of weeks, sorry, a couple of years. Obviously, Monaco was sprinkled in there as well. I believe Lille won it last year. So I feel like they're
yeah.
almost as much as the juggernaut side that they've got, they almost lost that prestige a little bit. And then you look at the Bundesliga and you look at Bayern Munich and you see 10 years in a row.
Yeah, so that I had that figure in my head as well, and that really stuck out. But then I don't know. Personally, I've always viewed PSG as that Farmers League team,
Mm,
and but yeah, I mean the stats don't lie. It's Lille and Monaco have won it in that space. The Bayern Munich have had that streak, so
mm. I just think, yeah, I mean, 10
yeah,
years in a row, I mean, that's madness. Uh,
it's
and I
not
don't
even
have the,
fun.
no, it's like, it's really not. Um,
Someone like Thomas Muller, who's been there his whole career,
mm,
I mean, it wouldn't be fun anymore. For some players, it's all they think about, and for him,
yeah,
it's a rite of passage.
yeah, yeah. You'd almost kind of want to challenge yourself elsewhere, I suppose. See if you can win a league somewhere else. But
That,
I think, yeah,
looking at like a guy like Muller, I just don't know how like why he hasn't left already. I
mm,
mean, he's a German playing for the best German team
mm,
and dominating every year. So I mean, he gets to be in his home country and win uh, one of the top five leagues every year. It
mm,
doesn't sound all that bad, but at some point, you like you said, you probably want to challenge yourself. So it's an odd one, but yeah, I'll probably tend to agree with your rankings.
mm,
Definitely towards the having put PSG's not failures, but them dropping the league a little bit more than I thought. Yeah, I think I agree with yours.
yeah. But I think it's definitely a topic of much discussion, and I think it's gonna. I see it everywhere. I mean, every people calling the Premier League, especially recently with the amount of goals that City are putting past people. There's fans out there commenting, "Oh, Premier League, Farmers League, this, that, and the other." Everyone obviously has their own opinions, and I think that's why it creates an interesting discussion. So I'd definitely be interested to hear anybody else's rankings on those, and you know, let us know. If you can feel free to rip into us if you think we're wrong. So, um, but yeah, let's hear one of yours, Tazer, if you've got one there.
I do. All right. This probably applies more to one of the duo that I'm about to talk about. But Messi and Ronaldo need to retire, not ASAP, but very soon to keep their legacy intact. I mean, they're very high. Their legacies and their what they've done will always be remembered, but I feel like their value is being diminished somewhat the longer they go.
Hmm. Hmm. Interesting. Interesting one. I mean, I would almost agree. I would agree on the Ronaldo front at the moment, just based on his current position at United. Um, Messi obviously didn't have the best of first seasons at PSG as he probably would have hoped, but he's made a much better start this season, and it looks like he's probably back to the GOAT status that many say he is. I mean, look, it's a tough one because nobody wants to see these two retire, and they're the two of the best footballers the world's ever seen, in the same era. So to see him go would be obviously a difficult thing. They've both got amples of individual accolades alongside obviously team accolades, both club and country. I feel like it's already it's just too difficult to tarnish any legacy, like their legacy at the moment, as bad as what they may do. They could, they're the type of players that can probably, maybe return to, maybe Ronaldo will eventually end up back at Sporting or something like that, and end off his career there. And Messi, I don't know, maybe goes back to Argentina or something like that. I don't know, but I think no matter what they do, nothing is gonna tarnish their legacy too much. They're just that good, and they've won everything already. I think a few bad seasons towards the tail end of their career isn't gonna tarnish anything too seriously there. You got to think that they're obviously getting older, competing with guys that are basically, you can say, staying the same age, because every player, every team seems to be getting younger or based on average age, I suppose. So yeah, I don't think it'll damage anything too seriously for me.
Yeah, like I said, I thought it would apply more to one as being Ronaldo than Lionel Messi, but Ronaldo sticks out for me. Obviously, it's no one's going to look at him as a bad player. He sits at just about the top of most record books, and so does Messi. They're usually 1 and 2 in most record books. But Ronaldo, the way he's sort of rotting on the bench at the moment for United, it's not. It's just not looking good for him, and it is going to hurt. I think it'll hurt his brand moving out of football, possibly. The legacy, no one can take the stats and the trophies away, but his brand may be damaged a little bit once he has to look in a few years' time at moving out of the sport. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of debates sort of going around the GOATs of football, and that one kind of piqued my interest a little bit. That obviously Messi's returning to form, but he's not. I mean, no one should be hitting the heights that Messi hit, especially when what did he score? It was some ridiculous. Was it 80?
He scored 92 or 93 goals in a calendar year, I think, in 2012.
Yeah,
which I don't think anyone's since.
No one's even going to get close, in my opinion. I mean, even the way Haaland scores, I don't think he's getting close to those kind of numbers. But I mean, yeah, it is just an interesting take.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, it sort of caught me by surprise a little bit, but yeah, look, like I said, we're talking about the two of the best, if not the best two to ever do it. So yeah, I think as many people say in the debate between the two, you just got to enjoy them while they're here, because you'll certainly miss them when they're not here. So yeah, no, that's good. It's good one. Definitely a good one for me, Tazza. Well, we'll wrap it up there. A nice, short and sharp one for us today. Obviously, with the lack of Premier League, not a whole lot to talk about on the podcast, but we had to bring you one anyway. So we appreciate you hanging around for it. We'll be sure to catch you next week. Thanks for watching. Cheers.